Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to show you today how to create a style sheet and hook it up to an HTML page that you've made. And we're going to work with some examples that are on the class homepage. So today, if you look at the Today in 210, and today is Tuesday, January 21st, you'll see that I have a sample project page, and then I have one labeled Bill HD sample class page, and then the styles for the sample page. So let's walk through these, and then I'll show you what each one does and how it's a little bit of magic. So when I click the sample project page link, which I'm not going to do here because I have it up already over here, you're going to get a page that looks, oh, well, maybe I am. You're going to get a page that looks like that. That's the one that all of you began with, and it is a page that you might by now recognize as having no styles associated with it. So we're seeing the default styles, in this case applied by my browser, which is Firefox. When I click the same link that says Bill HD's page, though, I see similar HTML. In fact, it's almost identical except for I have a few extra navigation links up here at the top that I've added. And everything else looks a little bit different, a little bit fancier. And that's because what we're doing with this HTML page is adding a style sheet. Now, if I wanted to see that style sheet and see what styles are being applied to this page, I can do that by hitting either Control-click or right-clicking. And I can view the page source right there. And that's going to show me the HTML for this page, and I can see right here I have a couple of linked style sheets. One is for Google Fonts, which is allowing me to borrow a particular font called Source Sans Pro for this. And the other one is the one that we're going to look at in just a second, called home3.css. That's actually a style sheet I made to go with this page. If I click that link, I would see the style sheet. Now, at first glance, this looks a little complicated, but I've added some comments here. Everything you see that has a slash and an asterisk and then a word is there for you, for humans. The computer ignores these things as long as you see this to start and this to end. And after that, you should start to make sense of this as a pretty simple list of styles. And I'm going to go through now and show you a very simple structure of a style sheet, and then how to link an external style sheet like this. You'll notice that the URL up here is home3.css. The important part of that is .css. Then home3 is the name I've given it to go along with my project page, which is also called home3, except it's home3.html. See that? And I'll show you how to do that. Okay? So in order to do that, let me transfer over to the PowerPoint where I have a couple of slides for you to walk through. So first let's look at a style rule. And a style rule is really a rule that it has three basic parts, and we've talked a little bit about these, but I want to highlight them here for you. First is the selector, and here our selector is P, the P tag for paragraph. So this is going to be a rule that we're going to apply to paragraphs. And then you see some curly braces right here. All of the rules for a style sheet for a particular selector go inside these curly braces. And then the next part of the style rule is the attribute of that object, in this case the attribute of a paragraph text, which is the color, a colon, and then the value of that attribute, what we want that attribute to be set to. And in this case, for color, we're using something called a hex value. Hex values have this syntax with a pound sign, 6 numbers, and then we close that off we close every rule off with a semicolon. So the colon and the semicolon enclose the value of the attribute. Now if I were to translate this rule into plain English, I would say something like this. Hey browser, every time you see a paragraph in this HTML page, please turn the text black. This hex code stands in for black. And that's it. Now a style sheet is just a long list of these rules. You can put them in combination. You can have just one. You can have lots. But over and over again, you just have selector, curly brace, and inside the curly brace you have attribute value pairs, just like this. And that is a style sheet. Now the second part I want to show you is how to take one of these style sheets that you've saved as something.css and link it to a website that you have. To do that, we have to look in the head of the HTML document. And in the head, we will have a tag that looks like this. It says link rel equals style sheet. Type is text/CSS. And this stays just the same every time you're doing a style sheet link. For now, we can always use media equals screen. That tells the browser to what we're applying this style sheet. If we had other devices here, which we don't in this case, we might have other forms of media. And then for the important part, the file name, href. So that should look familiar. It looks just like any other link anchor, except what we're doing is pointing to this file where the styles are located. And this is going to change depending on what you name it. So there's nothing magic about styles.css. All the rest of this you can copy word for word and use. This you have to customize so that it matches yours. Okay? Once you do that, you can link this style sheet to any number of pages you want. Now, to show you that, if you had the URL to my style sheet, which you can get by clicking on it, hitting copy, and then inside that link, instead of having a single file name, put my whole URL, you could use my style sheet. That's right. Try that. That might be fun. That will make your page look like my page. Now really though, what I'm more interested in you doing is you making your own. So give that a try as well. By the end of Module 3, you should be having your own style sheet linked to your own project page or your own sample HTML page. So that's a little bit about how to turn something like this into something that looks like this. Good luck.